We are going to get started. My name is Amy Wolf. I'm the programming coordinator for the Osterville Village Library. Thank you so much for joining us today. And to our friends joining us on Zoom, thank you so much for being with us as well. Today, we are excited to have Anke Rudy with us, a very generous friend to the library. Anke has been plant-based for over 4 years since watching the powerful documentary, The Game Changers, and doing a deep dive into the world of plant-based eating in the early days of COVID. She has taken the eCornell Nutrition Certificate and is currently participating in the PCRM Food for Life training. More about this later, which will enable her to teach a whole series of nutrition courses and food demonstrations. Anke is passionate about the plant-based way of life and loves sharing her newfound knowledge with others in the hopes that it will inspire you all to take care of your health destinies. Without further ado, here's Anke Rudy.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today on this beautiful fall day. And I have met some of you before, but there are some new faces in the crowd. We'll talk later. We'll do some Q&A. You can introduce yourselves and maybe explain why you're here. Are you already plant-based? Do you just have an interest in going plant-based? Because there are many different sort of, we're all at different stages in our journey, as we say. Some people have been plant-based or vegan. Some people are whole food plant-based. So as Amy said, I've been plant-based for almost 5 years now. I watched this documentary and just the early weeks of COVID, I watched this documentary called The Game Changers, and sort of a little bit bored. We were stuck at home, and my teenage daughter and I said, we're going to give this a try. And we were using the word vegan. And then I kind of went deeper and deeper into the whole plant-based lifestyle, and I've sort of converted gradually to something we call whole food plant-based. And I usually start my talks by explaining the difference between vegan and whole food plant-based. So, vegan is a common word. We hear it a lot. We associate it, I think, really for me, mostly with sort of the moral aspect of not eating any animal products and also not using any animal products for clothing, so no leather. There's often kind of a militant, animal rights element to it. But I mean, a vegan diet is meat-free, dairy-free. It's not always the healthiest diet because there is a lot of vegan junk foods, like French fries are technically vegan, Diet Coke is vegan. So, there's a lot of processed vegan foods, and, plant-based has become a sort of a trendy catchword, and a lot of food companies are making plant-based foods, but a lot of them are highly processed, and they contain a lot of things that are not great for our health. So you might have heard of the concept of whole food plant-based. It's a bit of a mouthful, but what it means is that we try to eat food that is minimally processed. So fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts and seeds, and whole grains. And, occasionally, like a plant-based yogurt, that is still technically a processed food. So we eat that in sort of minimal amounts. So we like to just kind of eat mainly fruits and vegetables and grains and legumes and all the spices and herbs. So that's whole food plant-based. And also we try to avoid oils and salt and sugar. Again, they're considered processed foods, and oil is really just fat, but it's very, very low nutritional value. And it's just kind of empty calories, really. So we get our healthy fats from the nuts and the seeds, avocado. Coconut is sadly a saturated fat, but those are kind of that's the main kind of facet of whole food plant-based eating is tons of fruit and veg and legumes and whole grains. And sort of it's naturally low fat because we're not eating bags of nuts every day. So most of our calories are coming from complex carbs. So one of my favorite things about this way of eating is that carbs are not evil. Carbohydrates are actually the biggest source of fuel for our bodies, but we want to be eating them in the form of, potatoes, not French fries, like baked potato, sweet potatoes, and all the fruits and vegetables are very kind of loaded with the kind of carbs that our bodies like because they are full of fiber. And one of the big issues with what we call the standard American diet, SAD, is that it's very low. Oh, thank you. very low in fiber, and a vast majority of Americans are not getting enough fiber. I think it's over 95% are not getting enough fiber. And plants is where the fiber is at. You know, animal products do not contain any fiber. And who knows why fiber is so beneficial? What do we need fiber for? Does anyone know? Yes, so the gut biome. So all those little bacteria, trillions of them in our digestive system, they feed on fiber, and that is what keeps our gut biome healthy, is fiber. So eating whole food plant-based will naturally just give you a lot of very beneficial fiber. And there's actually a book over here called Fiber Fueled. Welcome to come look at these books later on. So yes, the tons of benefits to eating plenty of fiber. So that's really, you know, those are the things we do eat, and then we don't eat dairy and meat. And I don't want to really harp on too much about the evils of dairy and meat. I mean, there are definitely reasons why we don't eat those. It's saturated fat, cholesterol, you know, casein in milk is cancer causing, all of those things. Plenty of literature about that. I'm not going to focus on that today. So today we are going to be talking about comfort foods and eating nice, healthy, plant-based foods through the fall. Okay. Oh, how did I do? Sorry. Every time. Oh, I should do that. All right, so I already referenced a few of these. So what are the benefits of eating plant-based? So number one for me is really the fiber. Secondly, nutrients. So, you know, fruits and vegetables is where you're getting all your vitamins, phytonutrients, so many minerals, and you're getting them in the kind of this beautiful natural packaging, you know, so instead of taking a pill, you're getting it in the way, you know, nature intended, and they're all kind of working together, you know, in a very harmonious fashion. Plants contain no cholesterol, so it's a really great way of naturally keeping your cholesterol low. I mean, I went plant-based in 2020, and even that year at my physical, that October, so a half a year after I went plant-based, my cholesterol had plummeted 40 points. And my doctor actually went to check her notes because she said, did I prescribe you a statin last year? And I said, no, because my cholesterol had just one time hit 200, which she was like, oh, I'm going to prescribe you statin. I said, well, no, I think it's fine. And then I went plant-based and my cholesterol dropped, and she thought she had prescribed me a statin because she was so amazed by the drop in my cholesterol number. So that just kind of happens on its own. Eating this way is anti-inflammatory. So the animal products are acidic, and that's what causes the inflammation in our bodies. And a lot of the diseases, a lot of chronic diseases are caused by inflammation. So by eating more plants, you know, your body is going to be, it's more of an alkaline thing, neutralizes any acidity in the body. So it's just a great way of avoiding a lot of those diseases which cause inflammation. It's, like I said, naturally low fat. I mean, we do need a little bit of fat, but we get plenty of it from the nuts, the seeds, avocado, coconut. I'm trying to keep the coconut down because I'm trying to get my cholesterol down even further. And unfortunately, like I said, coconut does contain some saturated fat, but it is generally a low fat way of eating without counting calories or macros or anything. It's just you're getting all the nutrients you need this way. And again, as I said, it's disease fighting. So a lot of the chronic diseases that we see, you know, heart disease, even Alzheimer's, you know, the connection with mental health, there's more and more research coming out, you know, and a lot of it is because of inflammation. Eating this way prevents a great majority of the chronic diseases that are kind of rampant in the Western world. At the moment, there's actually been so many studies. Dr. Esselstyn and Dr. Ornish are two of the leading heart surgeons who have done research into, they put their patients who have suffered major heart attacks, and they put them on the whole food plant-based diet. And not only have they not had recurrence of heart attack, they've actually shown the arteries healing, regenerating. So it's really amazing. I don't think there's any medication out there that can actually heal a heart disease. But nutrition is so powerful, and there's just more and more research coming out. on the benefits of nutrition, you know, in preventing and also healing from a chronic disease. And you can really turn around, you can reverse diabetes with diet, type 2 diabetes. There's a film called From Food to Freedom where they have, I think 12 to 15 type 2 diabetics, and all but one come off their insulin within 2 weeks. So it's very powerful and it works very fast. Like your body chemistry can change quite quickly when you start eating this way. So just a quick note, if you are taking medication and you want to give this a try, you should definitely talk to your doctor before you do it, because it will really affect, you know, your body chemistry quite quickly. We use the phrase, eat the rainbow, because the fruits and vegetables, all these beautiful colors you see here, this is where all the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, it's all contained in the colorful fruits and vegetables. So they're just packed with goodness. And I have to say that since I've been eating this way, I've just been experimenting with so many different dishes and recipes, and it's all delicious. You know, I couldn't eat this way if it were just bland and boring. And people say to me, oh, we know, well, don't you miss this? And don't you miss this? And what do you eat? I said, there's a whole world of vegetables and grains and flavors out there that I never even used to cook and eat. So there's a lot of variety. And if you do eat the variety, you're also getting all the nutrients and vitamins that you need. Does anyone have any questions about, I know there's always questions about protein and calcium and all those things. Does anyone have any questions about those? One of the common questions is, you know, where you get the protein. Well, I just want to quickly say, so first of all, we only need to be getting 10% of our daily calories from protein. 80% of our calories should be coming from carbs, complex carbs, healthy carbs, fruit and vegetables and grains. And the body cannot store excess protein. So if you're eating too much protein, it's putting a lot of stress on your kidneys. You have to get rid of it. So too much protein is actually bad for us. And carbs, hallelujah, are really good for us, and that is what fuels us. And so it's in the form of fruit and vegetables, it's cholesterol free, and it's keeping the gut biome happy at the same time. And a lot of people who are on a keto or an Atkins diet, not only are they not getting enough fiber and vitamins, but they're also eating a lot of saturated fat, which is really going to clog up your arteries. So that just about the protein. And, you know, we get protein from tofu, and, you know, all beans and legumes are packed with protein and iron, and even broccoli contains protein. So, you know, if you're eating a 2,000 calorie a day diet, you're getting enough protein. That is, you just don't have to worry about it at all. If you're an extreme athlete, maybe you want to eat some extra tofu, or, you know, but no need for protein powders and all of that. That to me is just a marketing gimmick. It's just a money making thing. You're getting plenty of protein if you're eating whole grains and legumes and all that. So today we are focusing on comfort foods. So the weather's turning a little colder, and I just Googled comfort foods, and this was what popped up. So obviously there's lots of cheese, but that down in the left corner looks quite healthy. It's lentils and kale. But when we think of comfort foods, well, I always think of pasta and soups and stews. And there is, and dessert. And there is a way to make all of these things in a slightly healthier way. So I use the verb veganize, you know, so make an existing favorite plant-based. So, you know, it's really easy to make pizza plant-based. I mean, I personally don't love vegan cheese, but, you know, you can buy it everywhere now. You can get it at Trader Joe's and BJ's and all the regular supermarkets. It does, you know, it's a processed vegan food, so it will contain some oils and salt and all those things. But you could just make a pizza with tomato sauce and then mushrooms. And we use something, I say we, like I'm in a cult, but the whole food plant-based people, we like to use something called nutritional yeast, which looks a little bit like Parmesan, and it sort of has a little bit of a cheesy taste to it. So you can mix that, you can make sauces using cashews. You know, there are millions of recipes out there for like a white sauce using white beans or nuts, and then adding the nutritional yeast will give it that kind of cheesy flavor. Potatoes, you can load with a veggie chili, mushrooms, salsas. Veggie chili is an easy one. I mean, you can use a soy-based, like a fake meat, if you're transitioning and you're not ready to kind of give up the turkey or the ground beef. There are plenty on the market now, plenty of plant-based ground, meat alternatives. But I like to use sweet potatoes or peppers. You just throw any veggies you want into a chili. Veggie burgers, that's a really popular one. If you're at a restaurant, there'll usually be a vegan. If there's going to be something vegan on the menu, it's very often a veggie burger. But these can be made many different ways. It doesn't have to be an Impossible Burger, which is not necessarily a very healthy choice. But black bean burgers with quinoa. Again, if you just Google veggie burgers, you'll get thousands of ideas. And soup. So I've made a soup today. It's a wheat-free. It's a split pea, carrot, celery, onion, spicy. It's a little bit spicy, not too spicy, I hope. Nice soup over there. You can start, you can just take small steps. None of this has to happen overnight. You can just take small steps. You can just start with switching out your creamer for a plant-based version, the small steps. Tons of great options out there, soy, almond, oat milk. There are flavored ones, some are a little better than others, some have a lot of oil and additives. Just check the labels and try to buy one with as few ingredients as possible. So that's a good first step, and you can use it in cooking, you can use it in your sauces. In baking, you can make something called a flax egg. So flax seeds have incredible nutritional properties. They're high in something called lignans, which have been proven to be cancer fighting. So I try to eat flax seeds every day. And I can make a flax egg by just adding some water to some ground flaxseed and letting it sit for a minute. It kind of gets sticky. So you can use that to bind, your baking ingredients, or unsweet applesauce is a good one as well. You can use banana in baking. Obviously switching out, your chicken broth for some veggie broth. That's kind of an easy one. And there are a lot of vegan pastries and desserts out there. Again, they're not the healthiest things, but you can make nice desserts at home. Does anyone use dates? Has everyone discovered dates yet? So dates are kind of nature's candy. They're super sweet and they're great in baking as well. And you can also make syrup out of them. Buy date syrup. Maple syrup is vegan. That's plant-based. Obviously a lot of sugar, but again, not as bad as like a processed like white sugar. So you need a little hit of sweet. You can get it from dates and maple syrup. And there are just so many amazing resources out there in terms of recipes. So it's very tempting. I love buying cookbooks, but there are just great recipes online. Three of my favorites are Forks Over Knives. Has anyone seen the Forks Over Knives documentary? So this is a great documentary. If you haven't seen it, it's a little vintage at this point. It's about 20 years old, but all the science is still legit. I kind of keep hoping they're going to make an updated version of it just with some new statistics, but it basically starts kind of talking about the health crisis, in the Western world and the stats of American, I guess. And just how is this happening when we keep spending more and more money on healthcare and technology and research? How are we getting sicker and sicker and sicker? And maybe living longer, but not living healthy. We're getting the care to kind of keep us alive, but we're spending the last few decades of our lives with chronic illness. And a lot of it, I get goosebumps thinking about it, a lot of it can be traced back to the food. What we put into our bodies really is very important. And we make choices every day, whether what we put in our bodies is going to heal us or harm us. So the power on the end of your fork, and this is the reason the title, Forks Over Knives, and actually has a picture of a scalpel on one of their logos, so it's basically saying, you control your health by what you put on your plate and what you put on your fork, instead of kind of resorting to surgery to kind of fix the problem for you. So I find it very empowering, because it basically says you have the power to sort of take charge of your own health destiny to a great extent, and even genetics. You can turn genes on and off with food. It's really true. Like a lot of diseases, people say, oh, I got this because my mom had it, it's genetic. A lot of things can be kind of suppressed by not feeding you know, if you don't feed it with the dairy and the meat and all the things like cancer or whatever the illness is. So a lot of great information in that movie, and their website is also incredible, like tons of amazing recipes, you know, research, a lot of really interesting articles. So that's a great one. Pinterest is where I go for most of my recipes. You know, you can just type in the ingredient you want to use. You can just say, oh, you know, mushroom stroganoff, or, you know, split pea vegan soup, and, you know, thousands of recipes pop up and lots of nice pictures, and you can always adapt the recipe a little bit. So I love Pinterest. And then, so PCRM is, has anyone heard of PCRM? It's called the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. It's based in DC, and the founder is Dr. Neil Barnard. Has anyone heard of Dr. Barnard? I think he pops up in most of the documentaries.
Heart surgeon.
I don't think he's a heart surgeon. He's the founder. He's written 70 scientific publications. I'm not exactly sure what kind of doctor he is, but he founded the PCRM Institute 40 years ago, and he's kind of been just at the forefront of kind of nutrition research. And so this organization is based in DC, and they started a program 20 years ago called Food for Life, and it's teaching the program basically. So they train people to sort of go out into the world and teach, you know, cooking demonstrations, plant-based cooking, and kind of passing on all the research and all the information and all the teachings of this institute. So I'm actually currently doing the training with this institute, and it's an 8-week course, and after that I will be qualified to be a Food for Life instructor, and I will be doing Food for Life series of courses on the Cape. And there are some general ones. There's something called the 21-day kickstart. And then they also have some which are specific to particular chronic illnesses. There's a heart disease one, there's a diabetes series, there's a breast cancer series. So I'm excited for that. I'm not sure if I can do them here because they do involve cookery demonstrations. So I might need to find, unless I can just bring my mixer here, I'll have to check with the library powers that be. But it's a great institute. So that's a great website for, you know, evidence-based research, and also tons of recipes, and all the latest news about nutrition. So, all right, so pizza is a great one because, like I said, it's so versatile. You can sort of put whatever you want on the pizza. So I've been finding, you know, some people say, oh, it's so hard to eat out when you're plant-based. This was actually in Puerto Rico. We went to just a regular pizza place, and they had this one amazing vegan pizza on the menu, and you can see it's whole wheat flour, and then they had made this white bean, and instead of a marinara sauce, it was a white bean base, or like a white bean hummus, and then they had made a coconut pesto. It was unbelievable. This is one of the best things I've ever eaten. And then they just threw some of the walnuts on it and arugula, and it was just stunning. So I love pizza because it's so versatile. I mean, look at this one. This one has figs on it. So pizza is a great one, and you can add vegan cheese if you feel the need. But yeah, pizza is a great one. Pasta. Okay, who likes pasta? I mean, to me, that's like my number one comfort food. Okay, so the great news is that you know, pasta is definitely still on the menu. You know, switching from white pasta to whole grain is good. But if you're gluten-free, there are so many great you know, chickpea varieties available now. I mean, my current favorite is, I'm always trying new kinds. My current favorite is the yellow lentil and brown rice spaghetti at Trader Joe's. Almost like a dark orange color in the pack, and it really holds its kind of consistency is really nice. It doesn't get mushy. Some of the other varieties I've tried, like the brown rice ones, some of the quinoa ones, sometimes get a little mushy if you overcook them. Like, you don't need to cook it quite as long as regular pasta, but there are some great varieties out there. So yeah, so you can make a plant-based pesto. So the only thing in pesto that's not vegan or plant-based is the Parmesan. So forks over knives have a great pesto, which is with, you soak some cashew, so that gives it kind of the creaminess, and then you add lots of basil, and you can add arugula or kale or whatever you want, you know, just greens, and some nutritional yeast to give it a little bit of cheesy flavor. Some lemon juice. So, you know, pesto is really easy to make yourself. It's just slightly healthier version of what you already know. Tomato sauce is great. I make a spicy, what's it called, puttanesca, with black olives and capers and lots of chili, and sometimes I throw artichokes into it, you know, so a tomato-based sauce is great. You can make a plant-based Alfredo again, you know, some kind of a nut or white bean, you know, there's tons of recipes out there. I love mushroom stroganoff. This has become my new favorite thing, and I put soy sauce in it and some Dijon mustard and lots of really nice strong flavors, because I don't enjoy bland food, so I like lots of flavor, but you can get all that flavor from herbs and spices and condiments, you know, hot sauces, plant-based. And then, as I said, you know, to get that creaminess without using dairy, you can use nuts. And nooch is short for nutritional yeast. You're very in the know if you start dropping nooch into your conversations. Okay, so this is all pasta that I have either made or eaten. So on the left was actually in a steakhouse in Germany. I went to visit my dad, and they threw together this nice pasta with just veggies, mushrooms, all you can see. Some, what are those called? Those peas, those snap, what are they called?
Snow peas.
Those, the flat ones. We call them mosh too in England. I don't know what we call them keepers.
Snap peas.
Snap peas, snap peas, okay. So lots of veggies, lots of pepper. This in the middle is one of my creations. This is, you know, lentils and kale and artichokes, and I throw a lot of vinegar at my lentils because I find them a little bland, and I grew up eating lentils with vinegar. I think it's a German thing. So, and my whole wheat pasta, and then this is my mushroom stroganoff. You can see it's a little bit yellow because I throw turmeric into a lot of my sauces for the anti-inflammatory. So just lots of onion, lots of garlic, turmeric, and I love pasta. Like that's one of my favorite go-tos. So yeah, as I was saying, lots of great new pasta varieties popping up in the shops. And this, I actually got this at Job Lot. This lentil pea and cauliflower. I haven't actually tried it yet, but it sounds good. Look, potassium, fiber, and iron, completely plant-based. Do any of you use that riced cauliflower? That's good too. So yeah, so there's just a lot of great things popping up in the stores lately. But if you don't like pasta, you can also do brown rice. The gluten-free people, quinoa and farro, which is a wheat, right, but it's really nice and firm and nutty, so that's kind of a good one. And, you know, like I said, variety is key, so, you know, yes, find something you like, but also try and switch it up a little bit, so you're not just eating the same thing every day, so we'll all have slightly different nutrients going on. So potatoes are great. Does anyone follow Rip Esselstyn? So the son of the heart surgeon, Dr. Esselstyn, is called Rip. And he appears in some of the documentaries. I forget if it's in Forks Over Knives or The Game Changers, but he does this like at the fire station. I think he used to be a firefighter, and he does this kind of immersion program for the firefighters, and their cholesterol drops, their weight drop, you know, all their numbers improve. And he was talking the other day about potatoes. And I don't know, I'm sure I've read all of this, but there's just so much new information. I just have to keep hearing it. So basically, potatoes have more vitamin C than oranges. I did not know that.
A white potato?
Yes, he was holding a white potato. And they're just, I don't know, they're so good for you. But even better, what I thought was even healthier is a sweet potato. Because, you know, usually you can tell by looking at the color of a fruit or vegetable how many, you know, antioxidants and, you know, vitamins and how nutritional value. Usually we go for colorful. But white potatoes, and a lot of the vitamins are in the skin. So definitely, you know, scrub them and eat the skins. I love potato skins. I mean, not filled with sour cream and cheese, but, you know, just eating the skin. I'm always the one eating the skin. Everyone else kind of leaves those on the table. But you know, here I am, instead of putting my lentils and kale or spinach, whatever it is, over pasta, you can put it over a sweet potato, that's plant-based yogurt. And on the top, there is like it's a pickled red cabbage that I buy at Whole Foods. So pickled food is really good for you do you know why we should all be eating pickled foods?
Probiotics.
Yes, is it that? Yes, probiotics, really, really, really important, again, for the gut, for your digestion, for the gut flora. So I just happen to love pickled red cabbage. I love sauerkraut. I have German ancestry, so I love sauerkraut. Kimchi is really good for you if you like kimchi. It's not my favorite, but some people love it. My daughter loves kimchi.
You eat all that hot, or you just take it out of the jar and put it on the plate, or do you heat it up?
I eat that red cabbage cold. It's kind of a sesame, it's kind of like an Asian, sort of like hot. Sauerkraut I eat hot usually, but since I've been eating this, I've realized I actually quite like cabbage, but like a pickled cabbage cold. So you can just throw a scoop of it, you know, on the side of your salad or whatever. So this I think like a veggie chili, which is great on potatoes. And again, you can sprinkle nutritional yeast. This is just kind of more mushrooms. Mushrooms, by the way, are kind of a powerhouse of their own. They have all sorts of amazing benefits, cancer fighting, all sorts of amazing nutrients, but you do have to cook them. I used to eat mine raw. There's some kind of bacteria in that, I don't know, it's just safer to cook them. So veggie chili, you will find thousands of great recipes. You could basically, it's a good way of using up whatever's in your fridge, you know, onions, peppers, you know, you can put corn in there. I mean, it's just an easy way to kind of throw a bunch of vegetables in a pot, throw it all in one pot, you know, tons of nice spices. And, you know, you can freeze it. It's just a great thing to have in the freezer when you come home tired from work one day, you just want to kind of heat that up, and you can eat that over quinoa or farro or rice or potatoes, just very versatile. And like I said, you can add a plant-based meat substitute, but honestly, I don't need that anymore. I just eat it as is. And you can use your favorite bean. You know, you can make it with chickpeas, you can use kidney beans, black beans, a mixture of beans. There are those in the supermarket, in the sort of pulses and bean section, you can get these packs of beans, like 15, I don't know how many different bean variety. Those are amazing. And they're cheap, you know, and like write a little bag for a couple of bucks, and you can just add vegetables to it, and that makes it really satisfying. Very filling meal, because fiber is very, very, very filling. And your stomach has a way of sort of registering which foods fills it up. So if there's a picture, I'll bring it next time, but it shows, you know, 500 calories worth of oil versus 500 calories of meats or fatty foods, and then 500 calories of vegetables and fruits fill your stomach up, and it just has this way of really kind of satisfying you. And then if you're adding things like oats and whole grains, it just keeps you full for a long time as well, which is another way that this way of eating without dieting, you will generally sort of reach kind of an ideal BMI, because you just can't eat that much of it because it's very filling, you know. Oh, wrong way. Stews and curries. Okay, these are my favorites. And I love anything Asian. So whether it's Indian, Thai, I love curries. Who likes curries? Do you like Indian curry? Have you been to the Indian restaurants on the Cape, or have you been to any further afield?
No, just in California.
Oh yeah, it's probably a bigger selection there. So we do have a couple of Indian restaurants on the Cape. There's quite a new one in Yarmouth called Kishar. Has anyone been there? It's really good. It's not cheap, but they will do a few. There's a couple of little vegan options, like vegetable curries. They use coconut milk. You have to tell them to hold the butter and the oil. But stews and curries is just a great way to sort of, you know, get those spices in there, and they're just very versatile. It's just a million different ways. You know, to Thai curries, green curries, red curries. We have a few little great little Thai restaurants on the Cape. You can have any of the dishes with tofu instead of chicken or shrimp. I just remind them to hold the fish sauce. And they're the one I go to Bangkok, the Bangkok kitchen across from Staples, they cook everything to order. So they know me. They steam my tofu instead of frying it. I get brown rice and no fish sauce. And they cook it to order and it's wonderful. This was in Germany at some random restaurant, and my dad's always worried when we go out to eat that, you know, I'm not gonna be able to eat anything. And I said, "Oh, don't worry, Germany is quite forward, you know, with these things." So everywhere we went, they had a beautiful vegan option, and this was a gorgeous kind of sweet potato chickpea curry. It was fantastic. Veggie burgers, the one on the left, that was in Bristol, Rhode Island, at a cute little place called the Beehive Cafe. And it's a black bean. This is one of the best plant-based burgers. I don't often order them. I'll rather go with a salad or a curry, but this sounded so good to me. And it came with these spicy roasted chickpeas, like a mountain of chickpeas. So that was really amazing. That was delicious. And I think it was with guacamole, or anyway, it was quite decadent. And this one in the middle, as you can see, with guac, and you know, you can load it with, you know, any kind of leaves, lettuce or cabbage or whatever. And that looks like it has some kind of smoky barbecue sauce or something on it, which is great. Oh, by the way, to get that smoky barbecue flavor, sometimes I bring these black beans with, has anyone had a liquid smoke? Yeah, a really good condiment.
Put it in the, split pieces.
Oh, do you? Yes, yes, yes. Someone made a soup last night. Did you try the butternut squash soup? It was
Oh, I did,
called
but it's too spicy for me.
Oh, yeah, it had a lot of chili in it, but I think that might have had some liquid smoke in it. Because Jean cooks with liquid smoke. And these black beans are just, I mean, my husband is actually, he said the other day, he's addicted to them. It's his favorite thing that I make. With mustard and apple cider vinegar and liquid smoke, and they are just, and
Black bean
molasses.
burgers.
Hmm? Well, this is just black beans, like as
Oh,
a
just
side.
black beans.
But yeah, I put, you know, molasses in there as well. It just has this really rich, smoky flavor, and he could eat those every day. That's his favorite thing. But, and they would be great with a veggie burger.
It
So
doesn't take very much though.
huh?
It doesn't take very much of that liquid smoke.
Oh, no, just a little dash.
Yeah.
It's very strong. No, I'm right. It really doesn't, you don't need a lot of it. It comes in little bottles, and I have those for months, you know, just need a little dash of it. So soups, another great, comfort food. Lentils, this looks like a broccoli soup maybe. And again, you know, instead of using the usual, you know, cream, sour cream, or to thicken it, you use potatoes, white beans. You can make this one with carrots, the potato soup, celery. I mean, those are kind of the standard, you know, at Trader Joe's, you can buy that, I think it's called mille-pois in French, you know, the chopped carrot, onion, and celery if you're feeling lazy, because that's a great base for any soup or stew you're making. But I like to just use up things that are kind of flying around my fridge. So I, you know, would throw in some celery and garlic and ginger. And this looks like a white bean soup with lots of nice kale and carrots for sweet potato. So, you know, the choice of soup, I mean, really most soups, a lot of soups are vegetarian. I mean, I guess there are soups with sausage and things, but most soups, like what are our favorite soups?
Minestrone.
Okay, well, minestrone is vegetarian, isn't it? Yeah, chicken noodle, well, okay, chicken noodle, I don't, it's my younger daughter's favorite soup, but, just so many amazing vegetable soups out there, and again, you know, any cookbook, any, vegan, vegetarian, whole food cookbook you pick up, there'll always be soups, because that's kind of a real kind of go-to, so it's a great way to get a lot of vegetables into your day. And it's nice, you know, you can make it the day before, you can just heat it up, they freeze well, you know, it's kind of a crowd pleaser, and you can serve it with some nice bread. Did everyone try the soup that I brought?
Yeah.
Oh, go help yourself. It should be hot, and plug the crock pot in. It's a split pea soup with lots of spices and some carrot, ginger, garlic, onion, celery. A lot of ingredients. But I'm just gonna throw it all in the blender, and it's all good. Oh, so as I was saying, so Asian food kind of is your friend, because they cook a lot with coconut milk instead of dairy. A lot of Asians are lactose intolerant. And that makes sense, because it's like the cow's milk is intended for the baby cow, not for humans, as I like to always remind people. So a lot of coconut milk dishes. This was a delicious ramen dish that I had last weekend. Lots of scallions on the top and mushrooms. And then this is my favorite dish bless you, at the Bangkok kitchen. It's eggplant with lots of onion and peppers and mushrooms. And it's absolutely delicious. Thai basil.
Where is the Bangkok kitchen?
Oh, it's, so in Hyannis, there's an airport with a rotary in front of it. And there's a Staples. And then there's one of the branches off the rotary. Staples is on your left, you go kind of towards Main Street, Hyannis, and it's a tiny little house on the right called the Bangkok Kitchen.
Right next to the gas station.
There's a gas station, there's a liquor store, and it's a very sweet family that owns it. And I told him the other day, I said, oh, you know, I always tell people to come to you. He said, oh, no, he said, I was so busy already. They do well, like they have quite a following, like they've been around for a long time, and it's, well, everything's made fresh to order, and but it's quick, you know, you just throw it in the wok and then there it is. Oh my gosh, so dessert. So I was in Puerto Rico with my younger daughter in August, and there was a market. And I walked up to this table and I thought, oh my gosh, this all looks amazing. And the lady, she was speaking in Spanish to the person in front of me, and I heard her sort of say a few things that I sort of thought I understood the meaning of the words. I was like, wait a minute, is this too good to be true? And then I asked her, and she said, yes, everything's completely vegan. All of it's completely vegan. And this was the day we were leaving, because I wanted to have a piece of all of it. You know, I wanted to try all of it, but I thought I can't eat one of all of these before I get on the plane. So I tried. So this down here was a carrot cake with and they have unbelievable chocolate. Puerto Rico sort of grows, you know, in the rainforest over cacao. So dark, really bitter chocolate, a fig. The yellow is actually a ginger paste, and pumpkin seeds. And carrot cake is honestly one of the best vegan desserts I've ever eaten in the last 4 years since going plant-based. And then behind it, that's something with lavender. And then this cake, I didn't try the one in the middle, but I did take a piece of this and I ate that at the airport. This was amazing as well. I think it's with pistachios and the rose petals. I mean, this woman was an artist. And then I went down the road, all these stores, and there were 2 more vegan bakers just in this little market in Puerto Rico. And I thought I would be happy with one of them, you know, somewhere in Massachusetts, because they were just phenomenal ahead, you know.
What were they using for sweetener? That's always the thing. A lot of vegans desserts are
Right.
vegan, but they.
Yeah, no,
use
no,
regular
these
sugar.
were not very sweet. So I think she was just using maybe a little coconut sugar, but mostly dates and banana and apple sauce and that sort of stuff. These were not very sweet, but they were extremely delicious.
I wanna know what she used to make the one in the middle.
I know,
Yeah.
that cream, maybe it's like a coconut cream.
They have something like that at the White Line Bakery in Mashpee. They have it's like little squares. I don't know if they are almost like custardy or something, but it sort of looks like that, like raspberry topping.
And they have a lot of English stuff there.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah,
it's
vegan,
all
they have
vegan, isn't it?
gluten-free, paleo-free.
Yeah. So there's fresh roll in Mashpee, which is completely vegan, I think. And then next to it is the White Line Bakery, which is, and I think they have mostly vegan, mostly gluten free, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's a good
No,
place.
it's on
151.
151.
Yeah.
And she's moving to the front. Oh, is she? Okay, yes, right now it's on 151. Okay. So past.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I had to wait for here.
Yeah. So this was, so just if anyone ever says, you know, well, and there's a lot of vegan ice cream out there as well, plant-based ice cream, but I mean, I'll eat it once in a blue moon if I'm really craving ice cream, but you know, don't look at the ingredients because they're really not good. It's all tropical oils and sugar, and you know, it's really not for me, and that's not right, but it's still better for you than dairy. But okay, so I Googled you know, vegan desserts, and again, like fruit pies, you know, a lot of fruit and berries, which are amazing. Like berries are one of the kind of, we don't really like to use the word superfoods, but they really are at the top there, you know, for antioxidants and nutritional value. Berries, any berry, nice dark color, packed with antioxidants. You know, apples are great too, any fruit, but berries are kind of the star. players in the fruit family, pecan pie. I didn't try, one of the bakers in Frederick had made a pecan pie, well, I think I did eat a piece of that as well. I really went to town with the desserts.
I made one with silken tofu.
Oh, yes, yes, silken tofu is amazing, and Joanne, who hosts our plant-based group on the Cape, we have a plant-based group on the Cape, we meet monthly for potlucks, and Joanne Irwin, who founded this group, I think 12 years ago. She makes a chocolate mousse using silken tofu. It's amazing, I mean, you would never know that it's made with tofu, it's just incredible. So there are a lot of tricks and like substitutes, you know, if you're making desserts. But really, when in doubt, just eat fruit, you know, just snacking, you know, fruit's always a great snack. But if you want to make something a little bit more special or decadent, there are millions of great recipes out there. You know, and using dates and date syrup and molasses. Oh, and these are just a few more things that I've been eating lately. For me, it's really, I mean, understanding all the reason behind it and the science and how beneficial it is and how healing it is and how preventative it is, you know, for these diseases. But really, for me, it's all about the food because I love to eat. And like I said, I've just been discovering so many amazing new flavors and variety. I never ever gets boring. I think this was a friend of mine made, she uses, her husband is Lebanese and she put the pomegranate seeds on everything and I just love it. And I love all those Middle Eastern flavors and a lot of the Middle Eastern food is vegan, plant-based, the hummus and you know, baba ganoush, dips and falafel. I mean, you know, yes, this is fries, it's all in whatever, but falafel is vegan and then these nice dips, tabbouleh, you know, lots of herbs and lemon juice, lots of great flavors of Middle Eastern food. This is just kind of what I eat every day. Actually, I think this was from one of the previous Green Nosh meetings. So these potlucks that we do every month, everyone brings a dish and there's always just so much food. So yes, mashed potatoes, great with a mushroom gravy, sweet potatoes, farro, some kind of mushroom sauce up there, stuffed potato, vegan. And then this looks like an egg. It's actually the Kite Hill yogurt with hot sauce, farro, cabbage, kale, broccoli. Broccoli is amazing. Kind of another, I mean, the whole cruciferous family. So, you know, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, the whole cabbage family have incredible nutritional value and fiber and minerals that kind of, you know, if you ask people kind of for their top 5, you know, I guess, you know, the cruciferous is up there. Berries are up there, flax seeds, you know, so there's always the same ones keep popping up, whichever book you read, whichever, you know, sort of study you read, but really most importantly is just kind of eating a big variety of colorful plant foods. So here is okay, so this is a cream cheese, a vegan cream cheese. So there's a lot on the market at the moment. If you miss cheese, I know most people say, oh, I could never give up cheese. I can never go plant-based because I can't give up cheese. Cheese is actually addictive. Like there are studies into like the casein and there's some kind of morphine similar product in cheese is actually addictive. So it's no surprise that people find cheese hard to give up. But honestly, for me, all it took was reading that book, the China study, and never wanting cheese again. Yeah, so there are some dairy-free alternatives out there if you're missing your cheese. My favorite sweet condiment is date syrup. You can make your own, but it's very easy to buy. And the only ingredient is dates. So that's considered as sort of very minimally processed because it's only one ingredient. And then this is my cranberry compote that I like to make. It's cranberry season on the Cape. I'm actually going to harvest cranberries and my friend Bob this afternoon. So I've got my waders in the car. And so I just get my payment is just a crate of cranberries at the end of the season and I freeze them and then I make cranberry compote. Cranberries have cancer fighting properties. I mean, they're of the berries, like one of the best ones again. They're all great, but cranberries have excellent antioxidant value and cancer fighting properties. And I just stew them with some unsweetened applesauce, squeeze of citrus, so whatever oranges or lemon or something, and lots of cinnamon. And you can throw other berries in as well if cranberries are a little too tart. So I throw a bag of mixed frozen berries in from Trader Joe's. And I put that on my toast. Sometimes I put a little almond butter instead of butter. And then some flax seeds to get those in. And my cranberries, and then a little squirt of date syrup just to sweeten it. And that is my favorite breakfast. I think this was something I brought to a friend's house for Thanksgiving last year. This is sweet potatoes with hummus, tahini, some dressing, chickpeas, pomegranate seeds, and I think that looks like, it's either cilantro and parsley. So yeah, lots of colorful foods, lots of strong flavors, and everything there is just so good for you. So I just love eating this way because I know that everything I'm putting into my body is really nourishing me and helping to prevent all those nasty diseases that I'll prevent. Here's my cranberry compote with some cinnamon sticks and oranges. This is a Thai, well, kind of an Asian peanut noodle salad with lots of edamame and the carrot, cabbage, and I make this dressing with, you can use peanut powder instead of peanut butter. It's a probiotic peanut powder.
Where do you get peanut butter?
I got it online.
Where?
Online,
Oh,
on
online.
Amazon, I ordered it. You can probably buy it at Whole Foods. I mean, I just found it online. With date syrup, lime juice, soy sauce, ginger and garlic. And I also make Vietnamese rolls with rice wrapper and this really nice peanut dipping sauce with date syrup in it. That's usually everyone's favorite at the parties. But this is really quick and easy to make. And again, you can just throw any vegetables into it, and it's often about the sauces and the dressings. And there are tons of great dressings out there online if you look them up, and even making dressings without oil, because I've tried to cut out the oil in the last few years. So there's plenty of ways to make delicious sauce and dressing without oil. But again, that's not something that happens overnight. That was kind of the last thing that I cut out, because I was still so much into this. Oh, olive oil is so good for you, and my mother used to cook with olive oil. So that was kind of the last frontier for me. And I try to avoid it. It's very hard to eat out and avoid oil completely, but at home I've stopped cooking with oil. I just use water or vegetable stock, or I just use the onions, and the mushrooms have enough moisture in them. So just to cut that out. And I think that is my last slide. So please help yourselves to some soup, have a look at the books, and does anyone have any questions? Yes.
How'd you get your whole family to eat plant-based?
Oh, they don't.
Okay.
They don't. Well,
You
so
cook 2 meals?
no,
Okay.
no, no.
That's my problem.
Yeah, so my husband will eat everything that I cook. Because I make tasty food, that he likes. So, but he might, like when he eats out, he'll have, salmon, salt fish or whatever. Or, chicken or whatever. But at home, he will eat what I make. He might throw a piece of chicken on the side, but he will definitely eat all of this food. I make granola for him. I do the black beans. He loves salad, so he will eat everything I make. Older daughter, she's now in college, but she's pretty much vegetarian. She'll still eat some cheese, but she's quite adventurous. She'll eat most of the things that I eat. And the younger one is she's 17. She is like a pasta, meat, and cheese girl. So, I make pasta, but she puts her cheese on it. Maybe she'll come around down the road, but yeah, everyone kind of eats their own way. But I don't cook meat anymore. People want meat, they have to get it themselves. I'm not touching it anymore. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this since April 2020.
Oh, okay, so you're kind of a newbie.
Oh, I'm very new, yeah, but I mean, really, I had considered myself quite healthy. I might say my mother really into vegetarian food and lentils and, cooked everything from scratch. She ate, Greek yogurt, and she ate fish and a little lamb. She passed away pancreatic cancer in February 2020, right before COVID hit. So that was kind of a shock to me because, she never smoked, she didn't drink. She was 120 pounds like the last 50 years, she really took care of herself, and I was kind of shocked because she was diagnosed and gone within a year. And so that kind of made me think, wow, that's a little concerning, because I thought she was healthier than I was. I mean, I smoked for 10 years. I ate a lot of meat when I lived in Germany for 8 years. I ate barbecue. I ate Greek yogurt every day. I drank alcohol. I mean, alcohol's being linked with, I, was diagnosed with breast cancer a few years ago. I had a lumpectomy right after I had gone plant-based, so I kind of doubled down, and then that's really what made me go from vegan to whole food plant-based, because I started doing more and more reading, and I'm now completely convinced this is gonna help, this way of eating is gonna help prevent recurrence. So I've just really gone double down hard on it, but, you know, I thought I was quite healthy until I started reading about, you know, the dairy and, there's all the things I had basically doing wrong. I mean, I think alcohol wasn't good for me, but, you know, the dairy really kind of shocked me, because we're all told, you know, oh, no fat dairy, and you need your calcium, and, you know, it's so good for you. Not the case. So that was the big thing. So I really had to kind of do a 180 on the way I was eating. I mean, I did eat fruit and vegetables, but I've really just kind of gone all in, because I'm so convinced by all the evidence, the science, and I feel great. I mean, I feel fantastic. I have tons of energy. I sleep well. You know, my blood work really, which is kind of like the report card, my blood work has improved radically since I left plants. You know, so I'm getting my nutrients, you know, B12 is the only thing you have to supplement with vitamin D in the winter, because we don't get enough sunshine. That's actually an enzyme, not a vitamin. So yeah, I'm just a big fan, and I just keep reading and reading more. I mean, there's more evidence coming out all the time, more books coming out all the time, and it's kind of a wonderful community. And there is a group of us on the Cape, you know, so I'm not completely alone. I mean, we do this monthly potluck, and I've been doing talks here at the library for a year. I've shown some of the documentaries, but if you're interested, yeah, please have a look at the books, and then maybe I'll show a movie in the new year. Game Changers was the one that immediately kind of made me want to go plant-based. So that's a powerful one. Forks Over Knives is great. There's one called Plant Pure Nation. That's kind of a movement that was started by the son of Dr. Colin Campbell, who wrote the China Study. His son started this kind of grassroots movement where they went and did these immersions in different towns, and people, you know, went plant-based and saw all their blood work improve radically. Reversed, you know, diabetes and all those things. It's just, to me, very, very inspiring way of eating and living, because, I mean, you know, just hearing all the success stories. I didn't have any, you know, radical chronic diseases when I went plant-based, but it's, for me, it's about prevention, you know, so it's never too late to kind of make these changes, because, you know, the more plants you eat, the better you will feel, and you don't have to do it 100%. You know, you can start gradually, you can sort of just start adding fiber gradually if you're not used to eating fiber. Just don't do it overnight. Just start adding the vegetables and the whole grains and the plant milk instead of the dairy. And then as you start to feel better, you might want to take it a little further, and you might read a book, you might watch a documentary, and then you just kind of start feeling better, and you just get inspired. At least I did. So I hope that this has inspired somebody to eat more plants. Is anyone here not at all plant-based and just interested, or are most of you vegetarian or
Plant-based.
plant-based? For how long?
7 years.
Oh, good for you. And what inspired you to go plant-based?
I went to Italy and made a pig of myself.
Oh.
Ate gelato 3 times a day, ate 1 cheese, and I came home swollen and feeling disgusting. So that's it.
Okay,
I've always loved vegetables and fruit though.
okay,
It's always been my favorite thing to eat.
yeah, but you cut out the dairy pretty much overnight.
I haven't had dairy. I mean, every once in a while I might sneak something. If somebody's eating something, I might take a taste of something, but I haven't had dairy
Okay,
in 7 years.
oh, good for you. And how's your blood work? Has all
Everything.
improved? Everything's good, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the proof.
The sleep has no fruit.
Sleep hasn't.
But another reason I did this is both of my elder sisters, one has passed away from Alzheimer's and the other one has Alzheimer's. And I'm willing to do anything I
Yeah.
can.
Well, the whole brain health thing is to me, one of the most fascinating things. So when I did the E. Cornell nutrition certificate, the most fascinating module, all these different sections, was the brain health, the mental health part of it, and how connected diet is to mental health. and Alzheimer's. And fascinating. They had this, it was actually a couple, like brain surgeons, and they were unbelievable. It was so interesting. But also, not just the food, but like your whole environment, exercising is really important, sleep's important, drinking lots of water is important, social connection. Has anyone watched the Netflix series about the blue zones?
Yes. You see that study with the siblings?
Yes, the sibling study, you are what you eat. So there's just so much great, evidence and, interesting studies going on at the moment. But the blue zones is about these places across the globe where people live well into their 90s, if not 100, active, mentally active, so, physically well. And so this chap, Dan Butner, has, looked into it and he's done all these studies about these different zones. There's one in America, in LA, it's a Seventh-day Adventist, it's like a vegetarian
Yeah,
sect.
not Yorba Linda.
Yes, it is.
Is it
Oh,
Yorba
Loma
Linda?
Linda.
Loma Linda.
Yes. So, but there's one in Japan and Italy and I think Costa Rica. Yeah, so they've looked into why, what are the factors that are keeping people so healthy? And a lot of it comes down to eating lots of beans and plant, not meat, but also staying physically active and, your mind active. So there's a lot of factors, but nutrition is really the biggest one. And there's a lot we can do about it. It's just that the food industry and, all those things that are fighting us because they want us to get addicted to this, junk food and fat and sugar and salt. And it's, you do have to kind of make a bit of an effort to combat that. But once you realize how it's benefiting you and how you are in control of your own health, it's really it's a powerful thing. And it's just good to know that you're doing everything you can. Obviously, there are other factors, you can't control, but you can control what you put on your plate every day. And, I think it's worth giving it a try and see how you feel. Yeah, so lots of nice comfort food for the colder weather. Any other questions?
I just wanted to add happycow.net.
Yes, yeah.
You can also, I paid the whatever, $5 for the app. But anywhere you travel, you just put in, your location and it starts from vegan, vegetarian
Right.
options, vegan and vegetarian options. So, I've been to California, I've been to Canada, in London, I think I used it as well. So Florida tells you, if you're like, oh, where should I eat dinner?
Yeah, so there's an app called Happy Cow, and you can search for either a fully vegan restaurant or a restaurant that offers some vegan options. I usually just kind of head straight for the Thai or the Indian or whatever, because I know I'll get something vegan there. But yeah, there are more and more restaurants popping up. And where was it lately? The Fig Tree Cafe on Cape Cod have just introduced a whole new vegan menu. I think the owner's daughter is vegan. And, they have tofu scramble, you add some turmeric and it looks like egg, mushrooms and spinach and some nice sourdough. That's a good one for breakfast, but,
And it's a charming place.
it's a very, very cozy, sweet cafe.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just heard today that Bread and Roses, is potentially closing its doors in November, I guess. So, but there are, breakfast is tricky. Oh, the Daily Paper has a vegan burrito. It's amazing. Packed with spinach, mushrooms, peppers, and it comes with a little dish of guac and a little bowl of fresh fruit.
Where is that?
The Daily Paper, there's one on West Main Street and one on Main Street, Miamis.
In.
This one's on.
But that's the only vegan thing on the menu, or you can just get a big fruit cup. But I don't like to order things in restaurants that I could have at home. Obviously, I could make a vegan, veggie burrito as well, but that's a lot of work. So that is a good option in the Daily Paper. Other than that, I'm kind of just having a latte, an oat milk latte in most places. But lunch options, there's a lot of nice sandwiches, wraps and things you can get vegan.
A few years ago, we ate at a vegan restaurant in Osterville, right here, but is it no longer here?
Oh.
Yes, maybe not.
I'm not, I think I would know about that.
No,
So
I guess they closed.
Oh, there was a vegan restaurant in Osterville. Wow. Actually,
Yeah.
Delights, isn't that like a little
Something
cafe?
called
or
Delights. It still has, I think.
Oh, so there's a new place, I think it's called North Sister. cafe, where this, if it's what we're thinking of.
Yeah.
There's a little side road behind the post office where the convenience store is. There's a steep hill, Veterans Hall, and there's a tiny little
I
place
think
used to be
that's
called
where-
Earthly Delights.
Yeah.
It's now called, I think, North Sister Cafe, it's lady from Alaska. And she has some vegan bowls and things there. So, you know, you can find it if you go looking for it, but we could definitely use a few more.
Well, there will be more and more because there's more and more publicity and there's all kinds of information out there on
Yes.
the internet. And,
Yeah.
now it's even appearing in national news.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
So-
none of this is new, this has been around since the 40s, 50s, I mean, like the PCRO has been around since the mid-80s. This book, The Food Revolution, was written in the 80s, so I mean, a lot of people know about it, it's not like some newfangled, I mean, you know, plant-based is becoming sort of a trendy thing, but a lot of hippies have been eating this way, you know, since the 60s and 70s. Has anyone heard of Plant City in Rhode Island, in Providence? Have you been there?
No.
Oh, so next time, well, you're here for a number of weeks and months, so you should go to Plant City in Rhode Island.
Oh, I was
Providence, Rhode
going to
Island.
go with the group, but I had to drop out at the last minute.
In Providence.
The,
Oh, yes, it's, yeah, we did a little field trip there with our plant-based.
yes, I think I was supposed to be gone.
So it's a whole kind of, what would you call it? I mean, it's like a food, emporium. They have some cafes downstairs and a little market and two really nice restaurants upstairs, an Italian restaurant and a Mexican restaurant, and everything is 100% plant-based. And they have a basement space where they do, you know, lectures and food demonstrations, and sorts of things. Phenomenal.
Is that new or has that been?
That's been there, I think it opened right before COVID. It's been there for several years. And the founder is just really inspiring. She's doing something like a movie Mondays. I think they're showing a movie every first Monday of the month, like a documentary type movie. And she's encouraging people to host these in their homes and just kind of, you know, I mean, like with me, I mean, watching a documentary was what really kind of got me started on this. I mean, not many people are going to pick up a book and read it cover to cover, but you know, if you invite a friend over and you have them watch Forks Over Knives or Game Changers, and you cook them a nice plant-based meal to go with it, I mean, that's more likely to sort of trigger someone's interest, I think, than just kind of pushing a book at them, you know. Although some of these books are amazing, like How Not to Die is a really good starter one. And the China studies a bit more, goes a bit more into kind of the science and all of that, but How Not to Die is great. It's broken up into the kind of the chronic diseases, chapter by chapter, and then the food groups is the second half of the book. And Dr. Greger is amazing, and he has a really great website, nutritionfacts.org, which is a nonprofit, and it really is just all the latest nutrition research, and you can search anything you're interested in, whether it's, you know, acne or, you know, any disease or any like soy, you know, or caffeine, and you can just search by the word, you know, you're looking for, and it will give you the latest nutrition, you know, studies, or he'll have done like a little 5-minute video. He has a really good one about olive oil, like debunking the myth about olive oil. So yeah, that's a great resource, nutritionfacts.org, and he was at Plant City promoting his latest book, How Not to Age, and Dawn, my friend Dawn, and I went to meet him. I went to listen to his talk, and we met him afterwards, and that was great. Like, he's like my new hero. So yes, there's a lot of great characters, you know, you'll see popping up in all the documentaries, and they've written great books on Instagram, and just lots and lots of great information out there, you know, to help kind of support and inspire you if you feel so moved, you know, to give this a try. I mean, a lot of people start eating this way when they've had a diagnosis, you know, to heal from a disease, but really it's a powerful way to prevent disease. So, you know, why wait till you get sick? You know, let's try and prevent the disease happening in the first place. So it's really powerful way to do that. Right, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you.